And now to the southern border. The president is sending top officials to Mexico and Central America as he works to get a handle on the growing migrant crisis. The National Security Council says the official responsible for border issues traveled to Mexico on Monday to, quote, develop an effective and humane plan of action. The NSC says another official will go to Guatemala to discuss the, quote, root causes of migration in the region and build a more hopeful future. According to the White House, the State Department has run more than 17,000 radio ads across Latin America and more than 500 ads on social media telling migrants to stay home. Yesterday, NBC's Kelly O'Donnell pressed White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki on what it will take for the administration to consider the situation a crisis.
Now that the public is seeing some of the images, because the congressional delegation provided some photos and descriptions about what they witnessed, children who are frightened and crying, overcrowded conditions. Now that the public has seen that, is that not a crisis? And what conditions or situations, what metrics would have to be in place for the administration to call it that?
Well, children presenting at our border who are fleeing violence, who are fleeing prosecution, who are fleeing terrible situations is not a crisis. We feel that it is our responsibility to humanely approach this circumstance and make sure they are treated and put in conditions that are safe. I will say that these photos show what we've long been saying, which is that these Border Patrol facilities are not places made for children. They are not places that we want children to be staying for an extended period of time. Our alternative is to send children back on this treacherous journey. That is not, in our view, the right choice to make.
Well, again, I just have to say one more time, like we said yesterday, those children made the journey in the first place because the United States of America now is sending a message to those children. If you journey across the desert, you make a long and dangerous trip, we're going to let you in. And we're going to let you in if you're unaccompanied. And sometimes, and we're going to find this out throughout the show, you can come in and we're not going to even give you a court date. So the administration right now, the Biden administration right now, is the one that's luring these children to the border with the promise of being able to get in. So they can't say, oh, well, they've come all the way across the desert. We can't just let them go back across the desert. No, you can figure out a way, a humane way, a safe way to transport them back home, I suspect. But again, as long as you keep sending the message out.
They're sending a different message now.
No, not yesterday. It's like, oh, no, if they're up here, we're not going to send them back. We're just going to keep them there. And they're also letting families that go and, that come across illegally, they're letting families just dissolve into the country and not have a court date, not have a date to come back. This is, again, why do I bring this up? Can we absorb families? Yes. Can we absorb immigrants? Yes, we can. But a couple of things. First of all, this is what causes the border crisis. You can talk all you want to foreign leaders. You can give as much money as you want to give to these countries, which I believe we need to help these countries. So people don't feel like they have to come to the United States as much. But as long as you have a permissive immigration policy, you're going to have a crisis at the border. And yes, when you have United States senators from Connecticut, Democrats, liberals that are talking about tears in their eyes when they look at the situation that these children are in, that's a crisis at the border. And as long as you have a permissive policy, first of all, again, it's dangerous for the children because more children are going to keep coming until you tell them, no, you can't. We're not going to let you in.
But you do understand they are saying that now. They're sending ads.
No, they're saying don't come. But they're still not saying we're not going to let unaccompanied minors in the United States, which is what they're going to have to say. And when they say that, and when that message is clearly sent, then unaccompanied minors will stop crowding the border in the numbers that they're crowding. That's one thing. Also, there's an issue of fairness here that nobody talks about, and I really am not really sure why nobody ever talks about this. But I'm just going to say it. Yes, when I was in Congress, I had people who were family members who were desperately trying to get a husband or a wife over from Pakistan or from India or from Belgium. I don't know. From all over the world. And it would take years. And they would go through this process that was just soul crushing. And most of the time, they couldn't get in. And we have a policy that just allows people to come in illegally. It's not fair. It's not safe to the children. And the Biden administration has to understand, if they're going to continue this policy, there aren't enough hotel rooms in Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and California to hold all the migrants that are going to be coming.
Let's bring in NBC News correspondent Gabe Gutierrez from Donna, Texas, on the U.S. border with Mexico. Gabe, what can you tell us?
Hi, Mika and Joe. Well, the Rio Grande Valley here in Texas is the epicenter of the surge right now. And behind me is actually an overflow migrant children's facility in Donna, Texas. The latest numbers we have for how many children are here is more than 3,700. Now, Mika and Joe, this facility was initially built for just 250. Now, we are getting our first look inside the facility. Some pictures were released yesterday by the office of Henry Cuellar, a Democrat congressman from Texas.
Hey, thanks so much for watching our YouTube channel. You can follow up on today's top stories and breaking news, or catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.